I'm Big Cal and welcome to my world. Oh, finally got those PlayStation Classic mini reviews out. It's been a struggle. Yeah, it got to the point I'd done so many and then there was just a time period where I wasn't really feeling up to doing much and I couldn't get myself motivated to finish them off for a while. There were some other things going on as well that kept me a bit busy, so yeah, finally finished the last few off. I think there was 7 that I needed to do, so a week's worth of content. I decided just to do them one a day like they were originally planned to be. I got talked into doing them at least with a day in between them to help them get more views and stuff, more time, and it didn't really make much of a difference really, and I didn't like that idea. Especially with 20 games, that was going to be 40 days, it's over a month, that's just too long. I wanted to get them sort of one a day out quick, 20 days, done, move on to other stuff. Yeah, so they're finally done now, and so I'm just sort of here to give my overall thoughts of this PlayStation Classic console. Bit disappointing really, but I guess I already kind of knew that going into it, because looking at the games list for starters didn't appeal to me that much, and there were lots of reviews out, and of course I didn't get this at launch. Thankfully, I got it like most people, £15 on Amazon that day. Probably is going to be on sale for that price again. Black Friday's coming up soon, so yeah, you're probably guaranteed to get this for £15 again very quickly. And I suppose it is worth that price if you're not interested in a Raspberry Pi, obviously. Get the nice PlayStation case, looks really cool, functions very nicely. The controller over here, this is the one that actually comes with it, looks just like an original controller. Buttons, everything feels lovely and fine. But of course it's the games that let it down. So I just want to go over some of them and talk about them. So my rating system for the PlayStation Classic mini reviews, it changes every time I do these mini review series. It's going to change again when I do the Mega Drive, which is coming up soon. I had Avoid It, Give It a Try and Play It. Avoid It, obviously, if I thought the game was utter trash, avoid it, don't bother, it's terrible. Give It a Try, not necessarily good game or bad, it might just be something that personally doesn't interest me, but I can see the appeal for other people, or a game that while I enjoy, other people might not enjoy it quite as much as me, so it's worth trying at least, but not going into it expecting greatness, unlike the Play It games, which I would absolutely highly recommend to everybody. Unfortunately, there weren't too many of those. The Avoid It games, out of 20 on the system, 20 games, 7 of them got the Avoid It rating from me. Obviously, not everyone's going to agree with that, but this is my opinion, it's my channel, it's my videos, I'm going to talk about what my opinion was for them. Yeah, there was Battle Arena Toshinden, I've got them written here, that's why I'm looking over, because my computer's off today, because a little side note, I was editing some videos the other day, it was the first time I'd done it at night time, so I had my headphones in. Oh boy, was the audio terrible! Yeah, because all I could hear was the fans from the computer. So I had to do some audio editing there to try and remove it the best I could. I decided now all videos are going to be recorded with the computer off, that way I don't get that noise. Yeah, so Battle Arena Toshinden is just a terrible fighting game, that was awful. Cool Borders 2, I was so disappointed with that because I loved that game growing up. I own a physical copy of it because I wanted to buy it because I used to love playing that game, and it just doesn't hold up at all, it just plays like crap. Destruction Derby 2. A game that I had growing up, and I bought it again physically. I keep going like this, I'm pointing, my collection's over there, the PlayStation collection. Yeah, I bought it when I started collecting again because I wanted to own it again, because it was a game, one of the earliest games I got. It was one of the packing games with my PlayStation. So I always have some nostalgia for it, but I've never really given it much of a chance as a game. I always just sort of went into the Destruction Derby mode, battle the ball, and just smashed into cars. I'm playing it on here, with the actual races and things, it just controls like garbage and it's just not fun at all. Yeah, then we had Intelligent Cube, the puzzle game that bored the shit out of me. If you like puzzle games, fine, but I didn't see what the appeal was with this at all. You just have a bunch of cubes rolling towards you. Some are coloured. You have to put a bomb down to blow the coloured ones up. Rinse and repeat. Yeah, and then there was the other puzzle game, Mr. Driller. Yeah, Jesus Christ, I think the review for that was like 30 seconds long. Yeah, it was just, there was nothing to talk about. You just drill down and try not to get crushed with blocks that fall on top of you. I literally had nothing else to say. It's just like, okay, that's it. And that's utterly dull and boring and pointless. Which I believe might actually be a quote from the video. Then there was Revelations Persona. Oh boy, yeah, so the Persona series, JRPGs, got quite big now. The original game is terrible. The battle system's not as fun as it should be because they add in the stupid strategy type thing where you got ranged weapons and things, so if people are stood at the back of your party they can't reach to enemies at the front and blah blah blah. Oh, and it was just awful, and I don't know what the sound's going to be like in here, but there's dogs barking outside. Yay! So obviously I do not recommend Revelations Persona. And then finally for the avoided list was Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. Some cool ideas. I like I said in the video, I like the idea of the game. It just, in practice, comes off terrible on the PlayStation version. Again, like I said in the video, the PC version is supposed to be fantastic. It's available on goodoldgames.com, GOG.com. So if you're interested, have a look at it there. Just avoid this PlayStation version. The Give It a Try had 8, so a whole one more, so that's a little bit better because these games aren't necessarily bad or anything, or even all that great either. But yeah, worth a try to see if you like them. So we had Final Fantasy VII to begin with. I liked it more than I was expecting, so that's a huge plus, but it's just not a game I can really see myself getting into and playing for hours on end like, say, Dragon Quest. Grand Theft Auto, I'm a huge fan of it. I loved it. I grew up with it. A lot of people complaining about it being on here because they see it's more of a PC game. For me, I only played it on PlayStation, but it isn't as good as the sequel, Grand Theft Auto 2 on the PlayStation. Also PC as well, but obviously for the PlayStation Classic, that's what I'm talking about. So it is a fun game, it is good, I thoroughly enjoy it, but I can see people not quite getting into it, especially if they're only familiar with the 3D Grand Theft Auto games. Metal Gear Solid, highly rated game. Didn't do it for me at all. I kind of did want to give it and avoid it, but again, I understand it being a huge franchise and a huge game. Lots of people do love it. Just because I didn't doesn't mean it is actually bad. It's just it didn't do anything for me. It just didn't click with me. So you give it a try. You might like it because I can't necessarily say it's bad. It just, I said, just didn't do it for me. Oddworld Abe's Odyssey. That's another game that just doesn't do it for me at all. But a lot of people do like it, so I would at least recommend giving it a try. Rayman. Yeah, it's not the best of games, but you can have some fun with it until, like I said in the video, the difficulty ramps up quite a lot towards the end of the game, and it can be frustrating more than, I need to beat this challenge, it's, oh fuck it, I'm not beating that. So you can get some fun out of it, but it isn't the best Rayman game, but yeah, it's worth playing the first, like, half. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, another puzzle game. This one was a bit more interesting. I was just terrible at it, so I couldn't recommend it because I suck at it, but I can see other people liking it. Tekken 3, again, I'm not very good at it. I didn't find it all that interesting, but it is considered a fantastic game by a lot of people, so it would definitely be worth checking out. And lastly, Twisted Metal. Another one of those games which is just not as good as the sequel. So why this one is put on there, I don't know. It's the first in the series, okay, but the sequel does everything so much better. Give it a try, like I said in the video, if you liked it, if you thought there was potential there, play the sequels. Well, some of them, because they're much better and you probably will enjoy them then. So out of 20 games on the PlayStation Classic, a total of 5 got my Play It rating. 5. A whole 25%. Terrible. So Jumping Flash was the first one. I think this was actually the first game that I gave the Play It rating to on the system. Went quite a few days where they were all avoid it and a couple maybe of give it a tries. Huge surprise for me. I've always wanted to try the game, see what it was like. I was not expecting it to be as good as it is. It is essentially a first-person 3D platformer. Crazy. But it works really, really well. You'd think maybe with the jumping it would get a bit difficult to knowing where you land and things like that, but no, it all works fine. It's really, really cool. I definitely want to try out the sequel. So yeah, absolutely give this one a try. It was a good addition for the PlayStation Classic. R4, Ridge Racer Type 4, or Ridge Racing Type 4, Ridge Racer, Ridge Racing. I've kind of just scribbled something on there. I think it's Ridge Racer Type 4. Really, really fun arcade racing game. Really fun. Thoroughly enjoyed this one. Like, obviously Gran Turismo would have been the pick a lot of people would have chosen. It was one of the best-selling games on the system. I think Gran Turismo 2 was the best-selling game on the system. And I do own them. I own quite a few of them. I'm not very good at them, but I like them. But I understand why they were on, because of all the license for the cars. It would have been a nightmare. So they put on a super fun arcadey style one. And Ridge Racer Type 4 is supposed to be the best of the series, at least on the PlayStation. And I haven't played the others, but I can only assume that this probably is the best. It was super duper fun. I had a lot of fun playing it, and getting used to the drift mechanics was really cool. And I even ended up buying the PSP version of Ridge Racer, and that's fantastic as well. So well done there. Resident Evil Director's Cut. The original Resident Evil, it's a masterpiece in a lot of ways. Does it have its problems? Yes, but by God, it is worth playing. Absolutely. Love it. Siphon Filter, so happy this one held up. I was kind of half expecting it to be like Cool Borders 2 and that I loved it growing up. Playing it now, it would suck. Nope. Really, really fun still. Happy with that. Excellent. And lastly, Wild Arms, the good JRPG on the PlayStation Classic. First time I have ever played it, and I enjoyed it a ton. Really fun battling system, 3 interesting characters I want to find out more about, and an interesting world with it being mixed between Western and medieval, so that's really cool. So yeah, those were the games. 7 avoid it, 8 give it a try, and only 5 got my recommendation of play it. So with give it a try and play it, yeah, it outranks the avoid it, but it's still not a good list. But do I still recommend this system? If you get it for £15, absolutely. That's if you're not interested, like I said before, in getting a retro Pi. And the reason I'm saying to all this is because once it's modded, it's fun. Yes, I got this, my friend got one with the intention of modding it. So I modded his and mine, and yeah. So just a few tips. If you're going to mod it, one thing you want to get is one of these. I will put a link in the description to the one that I got on Amazon, yeah, and then you'll find out what it exactly is. I can't remember the name of it, and then you can look up your own. Basically, obviously it has the little bit there for the power socket to go in the back of there, and then it has like essentially a power extension where you plug in the normal socket that would come with this, plug that into there, and then into USB port or whatever. And then you have a splitter adapter bit here for the USB drive. Basically this helps give it more power than what you would just get out of, say, the front USB that powers the controller. You want more power to make sure that it runs nicely. And then what you want is a little USB drive, basically. Oops, just kicked that. Never mind. Anyway, when you're going to mod it, what you want is a smaller USB drive. You don't want like a massive, like 1 terabyte or anything. You want it nice and small. I got a 64 gigabyte SanDisk here. That's that one. Show the back as well. That's the make and model, whatever. Yeah, that's what I use. You have to format it to FAT32, and then you can put the files on that you need. I used BleemSync, I think, or BeamSync, BleemSync. one of those, do a quick Google search, or I might put a link down in the description. Yeah, I might do that. But yeah, that's what I installed. It recommends using a smaller file, a smaller drive, I mean, just to install it. Once it's installed, you can use NTFC format, I'm getting confused now. NTSF. Is that the one? I'm thinking video formats here. Confusing. Basically, you can use the modern USB drive, and you can use a much larger size. Once it's been installed, you just transfer the files over from the smaller one onto the bigger one, and then you put the games on as well. I've just stuck with the 64GB one on because I don't need that many games on it. Because what I've pretty much done is add most of the games from my physical collection onto here. So I don't have to mess about using the discs. It's a very simple, easy way to play PlayStation games. Connects to the TV via HDMI, don't need the disc, play, easy to record, easy to play, looks nicer. So that's what I did. Obviously you can download any games you want, but yeah, once this thing's hacked and you've got PlayStation games on there, absolutely worth the purchase in my opinion. I think you can, add on other emulators if you want to do that sort of thing. You should definitely at least be able to play NES and SNES games on here, probably Game Boy as well. Anything else, I'm not too sure. I'm not the guy to ask about that. All I've done is modded it to play my physical PlayStation collection digitally. So that's the PlayStation Classic. Disappointing effort by Sony, but is worth the whole £15 I spent on it after I was able to mod it and basically use it as a digital storage for my physical collection. Well, I'm bigcal, thanks for watching, and check back soon for some more videos from me. And of course I will be starting the Sega Mega Drive Mini reviews sometime very soon. Get them out before the end of the year, and they will be coming out one a day like everything else was originally supposed to be. So check those out. Thanks for watching, see you later.